सारे गा रे गा पा दा सा सारे गा रे गा पा दा सा अमृत वर्षा अमृत वर्षा। अमृत वर्षा अमृत वर्षा।
जब आप किसी एक चीज के लिए फिक्र करते हैं तो फिक्र के मारे आप और ज्यादा खराब होते हैं और फिक्र से भरे हुए और आप ज्यादा खाने लग जाते हैं। वैसे हमारे थोड़ी सी सोचने समझने की चीज़ें कुछ अलग है। जैसे लड़की की शादी करी और साल 2 साल बाद या 6 महीने बाद वो घर आए और मोटी ताजी हो रखी हो तो सब कहते बड़ी खुश है अपने घर में। और अगर कहीं दुबली पतली आए तो ऐसे बड़े बुरे लोग हैं, खाने को नहीं देते तुझे। Somehow we have equated being plump means you are a happy person. And if you're skinny, then you are not a happy person. But that's not true. A person might be really depressed, and out of this depression is eating too much. See, when you are unhappy, your mind is empty, your mind is looking for something to fulfill, then it fills up with food. The mind which wanted to fill itself with warmth and love and affection is now going to fill up with food. And then, because of this higher weight, the person is more depressed. Because I don't look nice. But to look nice, you have to discipline your eating habits. And to have good eating habits, you have to have a happier mind. Are you seeing the vicious circle? Tell me, which school in Midlands teaches you how to be happy? है कोई स्कूल, कोई गुजराती स्कूल जो ये सिखाता हो તમે કેમ છો तो सब पूछते हैं। मजा में सब बोलते हैं, पर क्या सच में मजे में है? Is there any school or training center where the kids can go or the teenagers can go, where they are taught how to be happy? No place. We don't have any centers. We still are so naive and so amateurish about all these things that we are failing into giving the right kind of training to our kids which we should have supposedly given to them. We teach them make money. We teach them get a job. We teach them go to university, be a topper. We teach them how to compete with others. We teach them how to dress well. We teach them how to hold the cutleries in their hand. We teach them how to wipe their mouth while eating. We teach them to say sorry and thank you, but we don't teach them how to be happy. So, your children know all the good manners and etiquettes. They have degrees and jobs. They have marriages and families, as you have, but one point is missing, and that is happiness. Isn't it strange? कभी सोच के देखो तो आदमी को क्या चाहिए? हर आदमी को, हर औरत को क्या चाहिए? एक ही चीज चाहिए, सुकून चाहिए, सुख चाहिए, हंसी चाहिए। लेकिन अगर आपको हंसना तब आता हो, आपको हंसी तब आती हो जब आप कोई ड्रेस खरीदते हैं, या आपको हंसी तब आती हो जब आप कोई चुटकुला सुनते हैं, और इसके अलावा आपको हंसी तब आती हो जब कोई गिर जाता हो केले पे फिसल के, या आपको तब हंसी आती हो जब आपके दुश्मन हार जाते हैं। तो मैं एक बात बिल्कुल कंफर्म कर सकती हूं कि आप बहुत दुखी इंसान हैं। A person who can smile without a reason, a person who can laugh without a reason, a person who doesn't cringes, a person who doesn't frustrates, a person who is not too obsessed about a golden future which God knows when would it come, a person who lives in a golden moment, I believe that person is the happy person. अब ये खुशी कहाँ से मिलती है? किस डिपार्टमेंटल स्टोर मार्क्स एंड स्पेंसर से मिलती है? कहाँ से मिलती है? किस भाव में मिलती है? किसी बाजार में नहीं मिलती है, किसी दुकान में नहीं मिलती है। और कहाँ मिलती है, इसकी ट्रेनिंग कोई नहीं देता, कोई किसी को नहीं देता। और ये बेचारा इंसान इस खुशी की तलाश में अपनी पूरी जिंदगी लगा देता है, कहीं तो मिल जाएगी। Those who have little, they are bothered. Those who have too much, even they are bothered. Those who have less money, they worry. And those who have too much money, I have seen them, they are the biggest worrisome people. Because they don't know how to hide their wealth. A very successful lawyer in India was telling me that he has made so much money. He has a very flourishing practice. He said, I have made so much money that I haven't even told my wife how much money I have, because my wife won't be able to take it. She will die with a heart attack. I have so much money. He hasn't shared this information with his wife or even with his children. He's a lawyer after all. He keeps the confidential information very safe with him. I asked him then one question. I said, today you are 63. You yourself have said that you have amassed a lot of wealth. My question to you is, are you happy? He said, what? See, are you happy? He said, can you define what you mean by happiness? And I literally had to define him what is happiness. And then I again posed my question, are you happy? He said, I'm not. Because you might be wondering what definition I gave. My definition was, the one who doesn't worry, the one who is not jealous, the one who doesn't have too many thoughts running in the head all the times, the one who sleeps well, the one who smiles more, the one who is in peace with himself or herself is a happy person. So are you a happy person? I ask you, all of you now, the same question. Are you a happy person? What? You know, today in the interview, someone called and someone actually emailed, and my radio presenter read the message, and the lady said that I have two wonderful kids, I am 42, I am a divorcee, For people, I am a very happy person because I make good money, I have a nice home, I have children who love me, I have my parents who support me. I am taken to be as a very strong person, but in my heart, I am miserable. But for people, I am a very happy person. Because when someone asks me, how do you do? Oh, great. How are kids doing? Great. How's your job? Very fine. I'm making good money. There is no reason that I should lie to them. But yet, no one is really interested with my sob story. And that is why I do not speak the truth. आप सोचें ना, आप किसी को मिले, एक ने पूछा, शीला ने पूछा, बहन जी कैसी हो? क्या है, रात नींद नहीं आई थी, सुबह पॉटी नहीं हुई थी, बच्चे ठीक नहीं हैं, एक को बुखार हो गया, दूसरे को जुकाम है, पति का भी थोड़ा आजकल बीपी हाई चल रहा है, रिसेशन का बड़ा बुरा हाल है, बिल बहुत सारे आए. ऐसी कहानी कोई लंबी सारी बोलने लग जाए, एक बार तो कोई सुन लेगा, दूसरे बार शीला आती दिखे, लोग रास्ता काट जाएंगे, भागो. कौन सुने इसके दुख भरी गाथा को? People are not interested in truth. And you can't tell it to anyone. You can't share it with anyone. And you don't know how to be happy all by your own reach. And Kabir, in this song which I had opened up my today's session, he is saying that my Guru met me and my Guru taught me how to be really happy, and now I am beyond all miseries and pains, and I have attained a state of intellect where my intellect is satisfied and contented because the intellect has known the unknown, and now my mind is at peace. So I wish to stress this point. Until you have not befriended a master, you cannot be really happy. You had to learn driving from someone. Right? You learned how to play cricket from someone. You learned how to cook dhokla from someone. It's very difficult to make dhokla, right? Many people make such a puffed pastry out of that. Someone brought me once a dhokla. I'm very fond of dhokla. And when it came to me, I said, please bring me a hammer. I can break it down. And then put in some more liquid into it so that it becomes little soft. Otherwise, I'll break my teeth. I don't know what the hell she did with that. You learned how to cook food. You learned how to dress up from someone. Don't you think so that you need to learn how to do makeup of your own mind? Don't you think so you need to learn how to live your life in a wondrous way, but your ego and your ignorance doesn't allow you to approach someone and seek someone from whom you can learn this? And unfortunate are those people who do not have this opportunity in their life. Kabir is rejoicing in love. और कबीर कहते हैं कि गुरु ने ऐसी मेहर करी है और गुरु ने ऐसा ज्ञान दिया है. गुरु चमत्कार नहीं देता, गुरु ज्ञान देता है. और ज्ञान से बड़ा कोई चमत्कार नहीं है. क्योंकि इस ज्ञान अग्नि से तुम्हारे किए गए करोड़ों करोड़ों पाप और पुण्य कर्म दग्ध हो जाते हैं. The karma theory says every action has an equal reaction to it. So whatever you do, knowingly or unknowingly, You are setting up an account of your karma, and every karma is going to respond back to you. And every karma is going to come back to you either to punish or to reward you. It's a very simple thing. If you throw a ball on the wall, the ball is going to come back to you. Right? The karma theory says that on the wall of time, you have thrown millions of balls, and each ball is going to come back to you, but in its own momentum and its own time. Let me make this more clear. I was for a day in Slough with one of my students in his home, and I saw these beautiful flowers. I said, what a wonderful colors. He said, these are tulips. And I have not shown it. It just comes every season on its own. I said, well, you must have placed the bulbs some time ago, and the bulbs are still there, and when the season comes, they just begin to sprout again and again. It isn't happening because of some magic. You must have placed those seeds or the bulbs which are still there. He said, yes, it is there. But not this season, and not even in the last season. I said, well, it doesn't make a difference. As long as the seed is there, it is going to become a plant. It is going to bloom one day. Similarly, all the karma which you do are going to bloom. If you have sown a cactus, the thorns would come. If you have buried beautiful bulbs of tulips, then the tulips would come out. And these are the forces which are unstoppable. You cannot erase it. Please mind it. We are sitting in a temple, but yet allow me to say this. You don't get a pardon just because you were seeking it. If you have done something wrong, it is going to come back. The payback time is going to come back to you. Someone said, then what is the use of going to temple? Yes, the use is there. If you have gone to temple, and if you have heard some wise person over there, then the teachings will make you so strong that you would become a responsible person and accept that, yes, I did it, and now I am ready to bear the consequences of it, whatever it is. Because many people do not understand this. They think that if they do, say, some heinous crimes or sins, or some mistakes, because when others do, then that is a sin. If I do, it is a mistake. That's the logic of the mind. दूसरे ने किया तो पाप किया, मुझसे हो गया, जी इंसान तो गलती का पुतला है तो क्या हो गया? ये दोहरा रूल चलता है. कोई आदमी दुष्कर्म करे, पाप कर्म करे और फिर मंदिर में जाकर के बहुत मोटा चढ़ावा दे दे. मंदिर को मैनेज करने वाले लोग शायद खुश हों, क्योंकि उस पैसे से वो कुछ अच्छा काम और कर सके, कुछ रिपेयर वर्क, कुछ मेंटेनेंस, कुछ इक्विपमेंट की जरूरत थी वो ले आएंगे. लेकिन उससे क्या भगवान भी खुश हो जाएगा? Let's be reasonable. Let's be very logical about it. It won't. इसी कारण भगवत गीता बार बार इस बात को कहती है, look before you leap, think before you act. Don't do anything which you will regret later on. Be wise and do every action with wisdom, apply your mind to it, and only then do the action. because every action is being recorded in your subconscious. And this very subconscious have been given a name in our shastras, in our scriptures, and that name is Chitragupt. For children, things are made little easier, and it is said, there is a Chitragupt who is writing all your actions. And when we will die, this Chitragupt, the accountant of Yamaraj, is going to judge us. So beware. Whatever you do, Chitragupt is writing everything. We have a similar idea even in Islam, that there are two angels sitting on your left and right shoulders who are going to record all your evil or the virtuous karma. Whatever you do. If I ask you one very simple question, what is day today? क्या दिन है आज? वेडनेसडे? बुधवार? नहीं, पक्का कर लो, बुधवार है कि वेडनेसडे? हाँ, क्या है? अच्छा चलो ठीक है, बुधवार। पिछले बुधवार को आपने सुबह 11 बजे क्या कर्म किया था? Last Wednesday at 11 a.m., what action did you do? Now, don't give me a vague answer, I was at my job. Don't give me a vague answer, I was sitting in my kitchen. Don't give me a vague answer, I was in a supermarket. My question is the precise action. See, at the moment, my right hand is doing this. This is a precise action which is doing it. It's not lifting the garland, it is not lifting the cantil, it is not pointing towards anything, it's just doing this, the gesture while I'm speaking. So I'm saying 11 a.m. last Wednesday, what were you doing? No? Last month, Wednesday. Last year's May, Wednesday. 10 years ago. No? Maybe 20 years ago? No, okay. Our memories are so poor. We don't remember what we did last week, last month, last year. How would you remember past life? How would you? And since you have taken birth, how many actions you have done? And you don't remember anything, just vaguely. This year I went to university, this year I got married, this year I was buying a new house. So it's not very specific, right? एक आदमी कहते जी कुछ तो कर ही रहा था मैं बहुत अच्छी बात है। नहीं, क्या कर रहे थे? बोले ये तो बताना बड़ा मुश्किल है। तो हमको आज हमारे इस वर्तमान में किस कर्म के लिए दंड मिला या किस कर्म की वजह से मेरे जीवन में खुशी आई, इसके विषय में आपके लिए जानना बहुत बहुत मुश्किल है। I'm not saying it is impossible. There are ways to regress, but usually in general ways it is very, very difficult to know. But there are certain things which I would like to point out. If we say a papa karma, a sinful act, I'm not going to go into details of the act. I would just say one thing. Anything which harms the stability and peaceful state of your mind and others' mind is a sin. And the virtuous action is opposite to this. When you do a papa karma, a sinful act, the result is going to be pain. When you do a punya karma, a virtuous act, what is that? It brings peace in your mind, it gives you a happiness, it gives you a joy, and possibly it can also give joy to the other person. What is the result? Result is sukha, happiness. What is the result of pap karma or a sin karma? pain, misery. Now, our mind is so entwined into this pap and punya, sin and virtuous actions, because this is a very broad category, but that is how we can label all our actions. और हर चीज का फल आने वाला है. और अभी भी आप कर्म तो कर ही जा रहे हैं, कर्म करने तो बंद हो नहीं रहे हैं. आज भी आपके हाथ से बहुत कुछ कर्म होते और हर कर्म का फल भी होगा. इसी को संसार में जन्म और मरण का चक्र बोलते. और शास्त्र कहता है कि जिसके जीवन में सद्गुरु के द्वारा ज्ञान अग्नि प्रज्वलित हो जाती है, उस ज्ञान अग्नि में मनुष्य के द्वारा किए गए समस्त पाप और पुण्य कर्म दग्ध हो जाते, जल जाते हैं. अब ना पाप उसको कुछ दंड दे सकेगा, ना पुण्य उसको कोई फल दे सकेगा, क्योंकि पाप और पुण्य के वो बीज वो जल गए. और जो बीज भून दिए जाते हैं वो बीज फिर कभी उगते नहीं. If you roast the seeds and then you sow it in the earth, it will never sprout. Because that life in those seeds have been burned. Once you have attained this wisdom, and how do you attain that? It is only through the spiritual practice. It is only through your sadhana. It is only through purification of your mind and bringing attentiveness, concentration, rightful thinking, rightful contemplation, rightful acts. And once you have gained this height, there is the crescendo, and that crescendo is called samadhi. वो अवस्था जहां जाकर मन पूर्णतः शांत हो जाता है और विवेक जागृत होता है और चेतना जागृत हो जाती है, उस समाधि की स्थिति में पाप और पुण्य के बीज जल जाते हैं. तो जिसको ये निर्बीज ज्ञान की समाधि हो गई, अब उसके जीवन में न पाप बचा न पुण्य बचा, और पाप पुण्य के बोझ से जो मुक्त हुआ वो हमेशा के लिए परम आनंद में स्थित हो गया. और कबीर साहब कहते हैं कि ये अनुभूति मुझे गुरु कृपा से मिल गई, ये मिल गई है. I believe this is the highest state which is very much achievable by every human being. Every human being. It is not that Buddha was some special guy and Patanjali was a great superhuman. We all are. We all have this seed. We all have this possibility. We all have this opportunity. The only question is, are we going to use it, or are we just going to drop this whole opportunity and waste our time on all those fickle things which aren't going to enrich you? The destiny is rightfully in your favor. Why I am saying that? You are born human being. This is the greatest grace which has occurred to you.
thank you